Oh, I see. I guess I should have expected this. Nobody saw the other guy, huh? But he was there when I took the coffee over, sir. A scout's honor. Maggie! Ah, Detective Gumshoe! Are you doing alright? How are you feeling? As if you need to ask either question, sir. Don't let him get you down, Maggie. And don't forget to eat well, okay? Roger. And you? Yes? You'd better square this case away, got it, pal? Maggie's innocent, you hear? If you screw it up, then I'm going to be doing some squaring away myself. Yeah, you fucking tell me, Gumshoe. Squaring away some paperwork for your arrest. For what? I think he's serious. Hey, detective, you're on our side for once, right? Yep, once. So you'll be able to help Maggie out, right? Really, you can, sir? Can you, sir? Of course, I've got the situation under control. I'm gonna get the first witness on the stand today. If something I say doesn't match with the facts, make sure you point it out, alright? Or you could just say whatever with the facts, sure. Okay, we're forming a united front today, pal. Got it? You get me? I can't tell you how grateful I am, sir. I've always admired you so much, detective. I know I can count on you. Looks like it should all go pretty smoothly today, huh? I can only wish. It's not going to. It's going to be a train wreck, because I'm going to suck at this. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Long time no siege, right? Better. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? No. What's wrong? Nothing, it's just whenever I addressed you in the previous trial, your response was, "You was a talking to me." It was a little, intimidating. No, that wasn't me. That was the phony Phoenix. I see, so our trusty Phoenix Wright is back with us now, is he? Our trusty? So, Mr. Godot, your opening statement, please. Mr. Troyd, whether you're a fake or the real deal, we'll find out soon enough through this trial today. But I can already tell you I'm the real Phoenix Wright. I wasn't questioning whether you are Phoenix Wright or not. I was questioning whether you had studied law or not. That's what I intend to find out. There's no denying it. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason or another. As everyone is aware, the court has already given its verdict on this case once. Therefore, I won't stand for an irrelevant testimony during this retrial. Nor will I stand for a simple repetition of the evidence presented in the last trial. I'm not planning on repeating anything that my phony me said. Trust me. Now then, Mr. Godot, please summon your first witness. Hey, Gumshoe. Let's start with formality, shall we? Name and occupation. Witness, state your name for the court. Oh, sorry, sir. My name's Police Department Detective. Occupation, Dick Gumshoe. Other way around, detective. Huh? Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm the officer in charge of this case since yesterday, sir. Since yesterday? Yeah, the guy that was on the initial investigation's tied up with another case now. I hope Gumshoe's really got everything under control, for everyone's sake. He probably doesn't. I see, so Detective Gumshoe, would you outline for the court the basic facts of the case? Yes, sir. The victim's name was Glenn Elg. He was a professional programmer. He was on the payroll of Blue Screens Incorporated, a local company. This is the victim's autopsy report. The court accepts this into evidence. Glenn's autopsy report. And here are the floor plans of the restaurant. When the incident took place, the victim was sitting here, right here. The poison coffee was brought over to him by the waitress. The waitress being the accused. Yeah. The victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. At the time of the incident, there were 2 other people in the restaurant. Mr. Gene Armstrong, the owner and chef, and a regular by the name of Victor Kudo. Still seems to be a very straightforward case to me. Well, that's because you're thinking about it wrong. Come, detective. Take up this hammer. And nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own hands. 2 hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, let's hear your testimony. Yes, sir. The incident. When the incident took place, the victim was alone at the table, sir. We understand that the guy, Glenn Elg, was listening to the radio at the time. Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup. And what we found was potassium cyanide. That stuff really packs a punch. Jesus. And, it looks like Miss Bird might have had some kind of motive. No, she doesn't. You fucking have a motive. Using the dark aromatic depths of coffee to conceal poison. Classy lady. And the facts of this case seem ironclad. Mr. Wright, I would like to ask you to begin your cross-examination, but... Yes? Please, no intimidation tricks this time around, is that understood? I told you already, that wasn't me. Asshole. Gross. Can I stop you for just one moment? Oh, what is it? Did I say something that contradicts the evidence? He's so desperate for that to be true, he's practically crying. Your testimony just now doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Bird. She claims that there was another man at the victim's table. Yeah, that's what she said, and the killer wouldn't say that when faced with a homicide conviction. What killer wouldn't? Okay. Sadly, your testimony isn't supported by the owner or the customer. Isn't that right, Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, it's true. There are 2 testimonies tie up on that. They both said that there was no other guy at the table. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder? Press harder. Well, maybe the other witnesses just missed him. Perhaps their view of the victim's table was obscured in some way. Huh. That argument is as weak as the coffee at Tribulations, right? How? I have here in my possession a ticket. A ticket? Looks more like a photo to me. Yes, a one-way ticket to Guiltyville. Population, the defendant. Oh, that sounds like a really lovely trip. This is a photograph taken from near the entrance of the kitchen. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef moments after the poisoning took place, correct? Oh, correct. I think the court will agree that was such a clear view of the scene of the crime. How, Mr. Trey, could anyone have overlooked a second person at this table? I'm glad I didn't get that information before now. It certainly seems to show the victim's table extremely clearly. You know, what a fucking coincidence that probably is showing really clearly. It's probably like that was taken after he left. He was listening to his radio, you say? Yeah, he had a portable radio in his chest pocket. Maggie told us too, didn't she? Something about how one of them had some sort of earpiece. What should I do? Should I press? Yeah, keep pressing. Having more information's good right now. Kind of. Not entirely, but you know. And what was it that the victim was listening to on the radio, Detective Gumshoe? Huh? How should I know? Thanks a lot. We're now one step closer to the middle of nowhere. This isn't going very well, is it? Detective, could you perhaps tell us about the poison and how it was used? Traces of poison were found in this coffee cup. So traces of poison were found in the coffee cup and nowhere else? Not sure I get you, pal. Was the poison a liquid or was it a powder? If I had to put it in layman's terms, I'd say it was a powdery substance. So the poison could have been anything that was on the table. Sugar, salt, pepper. Huh. Did you put salt and pepper in your coffee trident? The victim took his coffee black with no sugar. So it seems the poison could have only been in the coffee. What should I do? Press harder. It's not like I'm going to lose this trial any worse than I was going to already. You're absolutely certain the victim even drank any of this coffee. Oh, what do you mean? That was a stupid one. According to this file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. But the proof that, what proof is there that the victim ever drank any of it? Phoenix, please. Oh, hey, that's what you're right thinking. In case you were wondering, the last objection was for the detective there. Not for me. Oh, hey, you're right. You may be fooling the court, but I'm not falling for it. You have time to waste, and you have time to present that piece of evidence. Piece of evidence? Oh, that piece of evidence, sir. Yeah, that piece of evidence. What piece was it again? This. Ow. Should I be grateful this coffee is only hot enough to give me first-degree burns? Oh, now I remember. This is, the victim's coffee cup. Yes, the victim's cup. Take a good look at the rim. Yeah, you can tell he drank out of it. I mean, that was kind of obvious. Oh, yes, it's, unmistakable. It's clearly a coffee stain. Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in this cup. The victim gulped down the bitter death that the waitress brought to him. For the record, the only prints on the cup were the victim's and defendant's. Thanks. On further investigation of this cup, we found a certain chemical substance. Yeah, potassium cyanide. Potassium cyanide. That stuff packs a punch. Potassium cyanide. I've heard of that chemical before. Exactly how strong is this poison, detective? It's pretty lethal. Eat too much in your history. How much is too much? I don't know, like a teaspoon. Lethal doses of 0.2 grams. That's about enough to finish anyone off. 0.2 grams, how much is that? You know when you swab your ears for earwax? About that much. Earwax, huh? Sounds like something Gumshoe's got an abundance of. Such a small quantity of poison could have been concealed anywhere. And, it looks like Miss Bird might have had some kind of motive. Some kind of motive? Yeah, but, well, if you ask me, it's been blown way out of proportion. No one is asking you. You know what my golden rule is, detective? Chuck out a bad cup of coffee, you can always get another. I don't get it. don't get a lot of things, don't you? I'm saying we can always get another witness on the stand if we have to chuck you out. Oh. So stick to the facts, detective. Now, then, what was Miss Bird's motive? Come on, Gumshoe. They said she wanted to steal a lottery ticket. I knew it. That's what you heard yesterday, too. It disappeared from the scene of the crime. It wasn't just any lottery ticket. It was for a winning. It was a winning ticket for $500,000. No, it wasn't. She didn't get the winning ticket. Mr. Armstrong knew about that ticket too, didn't he? But he stole the wrong one. Then it is possible Maggie stole the winning one. What should we do? Press harder. Wait a minute. The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared in no way indicates my client. Huh. I have here in my hand the very ticket in question. That's the $500,000 lottery ticket? One of the female police officers found it when she was conducting a search of the defendant. What? Order. She's quite a lucky bird, our little waitress. You will submit that ticket as evidence to the court immediately. I better keep an eye on that ticket. The way the judge's voice is quivering. Victim's lottery ticket. This ticket was presented to the court in the previous trial too. But it feels heavier now somehow. $500,000, you say? It's just a scrap of paper. What matters is where it was found, Your Honor. I bet he wants to say it was found on Maggie's person. That's enough. The facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear to me. The defendant had ample opportunity to commit the crime in which she is charged. Furthermore, it seems beyond a reasonable doubt that she did indeed commit this crime. We haven't proved anything. What do you mean beyond a reasonable doubt? I like an old man who knows the score. There's also the matter of the $500,000 lottery ticket. That alone provides a very credible motive. I mean, for that sum of money, even I might be tempted to bend the rules. I don't mind an old man who is weak to the siren call of money. No good, Nick. Not good, Nick. With the evidence against Maggie is starting to pile up fast. Yeah, but that's because the court has ruled her guilty once already. I'd say it's about time to wrap this trial up. Or retrial. With one final decisive piece of evidence. He's got more evidence against Maggie. This is an apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time. Wow, that's not the cleanest apron I've seen. That stain looks like it can't be blood, can it? Huh. Seems the star of our play was a little flustered. He wouldn't have bled though, he was poisoned. And somehow spilled coffee on herself. You can't prove it's from the same. The coffee? It's not exactly the first thing that caught my eye. Of course, the coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about the apron. No, there's something else that stands out even more. Something else, I presume you mean. Of course, I'm referring to the pocket. The pocket? The search carried out right after the incident uncovered this. Potassium cyanide. The very poison used by the killer was in her apron pocket. A bottle of poison in Maggie's pocket? But she wouldn't have known that a person had won the lottery. There's no reason for her to think that she's gonna find a winning lottery ticket, so why would she be carrying potassium cyanide? It's not something you just carry around because, no, I just happen to have some potassium cyanide on me. Yeah, and Maggie's prints are the only ones on it. What? Order, order. The court will accept these items into evidence. Court added to the apron added. Potassium cyanide added. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Well, you have not explained the bloodstain into this court. If you say it's irrelevant. Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-covered stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You can't see it? Does that visor really only show red? Jesus. You don't need to be told. Just look at it. Well, detective, could the stain really be blood? No way, sir. It's just ketchup, sir. Ketchup? She must have gotten some on her apron while taking someone their breakfast that day. You could have spoken up a little sooner, Detective Gumshoe. Pull a stunt like that again, I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup, witness. Oh. No, I thought everyone knew about what that was already. I haven't seen anything yet to make me doubt the last verdict I ruled on this case. The motive, the opportunity, the supporting evidence. They have all been clearly established. Well, Troy, seems you really are a phony after all. You really know how to drive a man nuts. Witness, please continue with your testimony. Describe for the court the crime scene and the findings of your investigation there. Investigation. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man. Old man, sir. Poor Maggie had passed out from shock. It must have been real tough for her. And the victim didn't have any identification on him. Of course not. But we figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation went smoothly. When Maggie was searched, we found the lottery ticket and the bottle of poison. And that was it. There was nothing else missing from the crime scene. Are you sure? You identified the victim and secured your prime suspect. Very good. Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, Trent. Don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one, so let the fun begin. Grog was reported between the... Okay. Scary old man, detective? There's an old man who's a regular at the restaurant where the incident happened. We're obviously talking about the same old man. Officers were dispatched right after the report came in, but the old guy still made a fuss. What took you so long? And then he hurled abuses at them and seeds. Seeds. Huh. It was nothing. I caught each one with my teeth. Guess not even the mighty Godot can avoid being attacked by that guy. I mean, come on. Did you see him? The old man was the only other customer in the place at the time. He took his time finding a payphone apparently, so he was late reporting the crime. Poor Maggie, Maggie passed out before. How long was the defendant unconscious for? Officers got to the crime scene around 2:40. Maggie was still out cold in the kitchen at that time. It took another 10 minutes or so to before she came to. I would have liked to have been on the scene myself. I'm sure you would, Detective. I bet you would have liked to have carried out the search too. I would have loved to see Maggie asleep like that, all pretty and peaceful. Okay, you're a professional gumshoe, not a professional bird watcher. Save the romantics for your own time, detective. All we need to know about is the investigation. Oops, oh, I'm pretty red right now, aren't I? He didn't have any, are you saying that it was stolen then? No, I don't think so. The victim didn't have a driver's license or even a credit card on him, pal. Wanted them to stay anonymous, I guess. All he had was 58 cents in his wallet. 58 cents? Yeah, I can't believe I found someone with less in their pocket than me, pal. The victim should, like, it sounds like he was a thoroughly miserable young man. Or some kind of outlaw. Why not give him a bit of an edge? I think I'm on to something here. Wait a sec. Huh? Did I say something dumb again? Let me paraphrase what you just testified to this court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's basically what you said, right? Yeah, basically. In that case, how were you able to identify the victim so quickly? Well, I mean, dental records are usually the easiest way. They have a record, prints. Oh, that. He's still let down. He's got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eyes thing going. Again. There's a prescription bag in the victim's table along with the lottery ticket. That's a form of identification. Seems Mr. Glenn Elg visited the doctor before he went to Tribulations. We got the victim's name from the medical records of the doc who prescribed the meds. It's a reliable enough source for the court. What should I do? Should I have... ask about the prescription bag. I'm curious what's in it. What sort of medicine was in the bag? Well, actually, the bag we found was empty. Yeah, completely empty. It was completely empty. You're entering an empty paper bag as evidence? Desperate are you, Trite? Now, what happened with the investigation after that, detective? Oh, I want to see what the other one is. But the defendant had been passed out for a while, correct? In that case, is it impossible someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pocket? Hey, you nailed it. You've nailed it, pal. Happens to me all the time. We had a department party the other day, and when I got home, I was wondering where I was wearing the boss's shoes. Keep up this crazy testimony, detective, and those shoes will end up down your throat. Sorry. So, Trite, someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pocket? That's a pretty bold statement. Care to back it up with some evidence? Well, I'd love to if I had any. It appears you have no evidence to support your theory, Mr. Wright. Continue with your testimony, witness. Seems you're fucking old. That was it for nothing else was missing from the crime scene. So the $500,000 lottery ticket and the bottle of poison were accounted for. There you go. Interesting. It's true those two items are accounted for. But wasn't there another lottery ticket that was stolen that day? Oh yeah. The one that the restaurant owner took. He won a whole dollar with it. What a lucky guy, huh? And they're just going to let him get away with it? Oh, it's just $1. It was just $1, detective. I guess no one cares when it's just that little, unless it's Gumshoe. If I don't find a hole in this testimony, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. Gumshoe isn't giving us anything to work with. We can't find any contradiction if he doesn't give us anything. Yeah, that's true. But Maggie and Gumshoe were like Dumb and Dumber. Our only hope is that they were so dumb they missed something obvious. Come on, Gumshoe, be the dumbest you've ever been. Yeah, I just had to... Oh, fine. I probably could. I mean, the sheer fact that this bag's empty is crazy. I'm not gonna say like, oh, the potassium cyanide was in there, but it's less than 0% chance.